Well, hello and welcome new subscribers. I did not expect my video about moving from the US to the UK to blow up out of nowhere. I thought I would first welcome you and two, go over some of the comments that you left on the video and try to answer some of your questions pertaining to the move. A lot of you had questions about how it was for pets in the cargo. It was incredibly safe. I was really surprised how great the cats were when they got off the plane. The paperwork is rather confusing, so I do recommend, even if you don't use a shipping service, they do have different packages where you can contact about just having the vet paperwork done, because the last thing you would want to deal with is getting all the way over with your pets and then having some number not be correct or something not signed correctly and have to deal with your pet stuck in customs. I would just actually have someone help you if you need it. There's no shame in that. And I had more than one cat, so it was a little extra difficult. If you have just one pet, maybe it's not so difficult to have to make sure you have that over and over correctly. Another question a lot of you had was, how do I feel like I'm adjusting to the culture? So far, so good. I do enjoy it. One thing I've noticed is people are more direct here, not in a rude way. In the States, I could see where it could be misinterpreted. For me, I like something that's just to the point. I don't need things sugar-coated. I just want the facts. And I feel like that's what conversation is here. I actually really like it. Dancing around words. I just want to know the facts. And once you realize no one is being rude to you, which I think some Americans could assume because of our whole culture of oversharing, super bubbly, that comes from Americans spend so much time in their cars that you're not used to just being around a lot of people in crowds walking down the street, in the tube, on the bus. In America, you're very isolated, so you get excited about in person contact, really, I suppose, is the best way to phrase it. Whereas here, if you had to constantly do those little niceties with so many people around, you would never get anything done if you said hello to everybody. Some cultural things I'm still getting the hang of are definitely slang terms. While I am lucky to have already known English, so the leap to a new country could definitely have been far more difficult if I had to learn another language. The one thing that does get me is using S's instead of Z's. So I set up my computer or my phone to change regions so it can spell check me every time I accidentally use an S, or every time I accidentally use a Z, so I can properly use an S. The other thing is probably like colloquial sayings. The one in the States that comes to my mind right away is saying, let's table it. And we would mean, let's put that off till later. But my cousin told me that means, let's talk about that right now. Let me know if that's true or not, because as I say it out loud and I think about who told me this, she could be taking the piss. Because she's done that to me a couple times already. I spent all summer traveling all over the city to try to see as much as possible while the weather was great and the sun didn't go down till like 10 p.m. I spent 15 years in Los Angeles and I really did not see everything. And it's not just because of the size, but because when you're in a major city in the world, you're lucky enough to live there. You tell yourself doing that is too touristy. I'll get around to that on a day that traffic isn't bad, blah, 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 excuses. And then suddenly it's been 15 years and now you don't live there anymore and you didn't do some of the most iconic things in that city. So I don't want to make that mistake here in London. And we've made it a point to just try to do the touristy things that even my cousins here haven't done several of these places for the same reasons I just mentioned about LA. When it's your backyard, it's very hard to make yourself go check it out because you think of all the difficulties and annoyances of doing it. But I'm not going to do that this time. And I've already spent a lot of the summer going through so much of London, and I feel like I have barely scratched the surface. Tons more walking tours coming up for sure. Trying British staples, trying your food, your delicious food, which I have to say, I have loved everything I've tried here. I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since I was 16. And coming from California, which is one of the most vegetarian-friendly states in the nation, really, it is easier to be a vegetarian here than it is in California. Really weird to think about. Every time I go out to eat here, vegetarianism is taken, and veganism is taken more seriously. The entree options for vegetarian meals are Not just like, here's some chips, here's a little salad, but like well thought out real entrees. I have done a couple Sunday roasts, which I have also enjoyed. It smells like Americans' Thanksgiving whenever you walk in on a Sunday. I don't know how you do a Sunday roast and not just immediately go to bed afterwards because it is heavy and delicious and so much food. But back to the vegetarian thing, everywhere I've gone has had a nut roast option, which is basically like a veggie meat entree with all the vegetables. And the vegetables here, they will tell you that they're vegetarian, whereas sometimes in the States, it might have bacon on it because they think, well, you can just pick that off. That doesn't make it not vegetarian if you can pick it off. You can guess what state that was an issue in. More in my home state of Kentucky, but it is the state of fried chicken and barbecue, so I won't fault them too much. I'm excited to get out and explore more pubs. I've been trying to go to a lot of historical, iconic pubs. I went to the Plymouth. I went to the Prospect of Whitby, Ye Old Cheshire Cheese, and a couple local ones that I don't think necessarily are historic, but historically good in my book. I have a couple others. I'm trying to video all these iconic pubs and do like a little pub crawl walkthrough. Hold the camera as well as I can after a couple pints. Oh, which makes me think of one of the most useful pieces of information I just learned a couple months ago after visiting England multiple times. You can order half pints and quarter pints? Why did no one tell me this? That has saved my life so many times now. I thought I always had to just default order a giant pint because in the States you don't get to ask for less alcohol. You can only get more. Quarter pints, half pints, especially when you want to just try some ales, try some different things you've never had before and not commit to a full pint. Awesome. Great job, England. Thank you for the half pints, for this half pint. Also, I had shandies for the first time, which is just beer and lemonade, but God, was it perfect over the summer and the heat wave. So if you want to see me try more iconic foods, walking tours, what culture is like here, like, subscribe, follow. I have new videos that come out every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's the gist of it. Welcome. Thanks for following. Lots more fun adventures to come. See you soon.